Greetings, everyone. It is Thursday, May 23rd, 2019, and I'm coming to you with a stationery video. It's been a while since I've done anything stationery related, and this specific video is about the lovely Green Pebble company in the UK, greeting card company, Green Pebble. I originally found Green Pebble cards at a place in Northampton I go quite frequently to buy stationery. It's called Noteworthy. It's an amazing, it's not just a stationery shop, but they do have a very big stationery section. And I, for one, like to buy blank cards. I figure blank cards, you can use them for any situation. You can have blank cards that you use for sympathy cards, birthday cards, anniversary, just thinking of you. And I like to be able to write my own sentiments on my cards because half of what's out there, I don't know why people are paid to write cards, because they're just really cheesy, just, you know, either cheesy, they say too much, they don't say enough, they don't say what you want to say. So I just prefer to buy blank cards and keep them on hand, and then that way when I know someone's got a birthday, anniversary, whatever, I can just stick a card in the mail to them and it's all good. So what I thought I would do is show you the card that got me started on my obsession with Green Pebble Card Company, and show you some cards I've ordered from the UK over the past couple months. My budget is shot for buying cards anytime soon because I'm in between temporary assignments. So, yeah, right now I can't afford to buy any more cards. But I do have a wish list there. I'll tell you all about the website and everything after I show you the cards. So like I mentioned, I was at Noteworthy and I bought a bunch of blank cards. And this was one of the ones I bought. And this was my first Green Pebble card, and it's called Dawdling on the Dovecote. And I didn't know that a multi-bird house was called the Dovecote. I guess it is in the UK. Learn things, new things every day. And this is based on a painting by Catriona Hall. And I love this because I love birds. Those of you who have maybe watched some of my other, maybe my FlossTube videos or whatever, know that I'm an amateur bird watcher, so anything with birds. And I just loved the kind of folk art feel to this card. And it's on a really good quality card stock. I would be able to use fountain pens in it. So I thought this was a cute card. And on the back it's got all the information about the artist, and it has the information about Green Pebble Card Company. Green Pebble is a family art publishing company based in the east of England dedicated to raising the profiles of top practicing artists. In all our publications and greeting cards, we aspire to bring you superb images and a few words from the artist themselves, giving you closer contact to the vision and personality of the artist. And Catriona said, although left-facing, whiskerless, short-legged, and rather portly, I hope my subjects are identifiable, if somewhat stylized, and their poses unlikely. I've yet to see a curlew riding a cow, but I live in hope, and have seen 3 crows pecking for lice on a sheep, which doesn't seem quite so romantic. I worry for the cattle, sheep, curlews, and lapwings that roam the moors outside my studio in the Peak District, as they look a bit skinny compared to my acrylic renderings. Perhaps I layer them subconsciously as I shiver in my garret in the ancient stone house I share with an assortment of ghosts and a big guinea pig I called Guinevere. So she always gives her birds a little bit more personality than she feels like they have in real life. So that's the kind of thing that Green Pebble does. They give you a little blurb from the artist about the particular painting that's used on the card, and then, you know, greenpebble.co.uk, the website was on there. So I was like, you know what, I really like these cards. I would love to see others of them, and I'm sure Noteworthy does carry them, but of course the website I decided to go and visit, and that's all she wrote. I'm obsessed now. These are all the cards I've ordered from the UK in the past few months. Now I just need to sit down and write the letters to the people to accompany the cards I've bought. You know, the website, you can convert it over to dollars from pounds. So that's good. I think the cards are mostly like $3.95 a piece. which I know you're sitting there saying, oh my God, for people who don't even write letters anymore, you're going to spend $3.95 a piece. Well, I bought this one at Target, because Target also has a good collection of blank cards. I bought this one to send to a friend of mine who lives in Florida. This card, my dear friends, was $7.95. So actually, a $4 card from England is much more doable than $8 cards from the U.S., if you ask me. Cards are like anything else. You know, you can spend money on them or not. I do have some other cards. Oops, I just dropped one. Like, I think this one is gorgeous. This one was $5.95. You know, I don't see that as a lot of money to spend, given that it's a quality card, and if you write a letter in it instead of just writing a little, oh, hi, thinking of you, and sign it, you know, it can be a keepsake. It can be a memento that someone keeps. Shipping is very reasonable to the United States. I think the most money I spent in one shopping spree was $30 plus shipping. All of the cards come in plastic sleeves, but I'm not going to show you because, see, I'm not sure where that glare is coming from, but because I turned off my computer monitor, which is facing over there, so I'm going to take them out of the plastic sleeve as I show you which cards I bought. So like I said, this was the card that got the ball rolling. And when I went to the website, I actually found another one, very similar. And this one is called Transatlantic Dovecote. And in this one, she said that she did the painting, and then the publisher said, well, a lot of people from North America buy these cards. You might want to add some North American birds. So she put the cardinal and the blue jay, and what else did she put? Oh, the cardinal, the blue jay, and the robin up here. So this is the companion card to the one that got me started. And as crazy as our blue jays have been going today at the feeder, I'm really partial to that one. Cardinals are my favorites, goldfinches, we have blue jays, I mean, you name it, we've got it. So I love this card, and I love that she put a few North American birds in there too. We actually had a red-winged blackbird at my feeder today, which, if you knew anything about Western Massachusetts, right around the area where my husband works in Amherst, is very swampy. Hadley has a lot of swampy low-lying areas, and I see red-winged blackbirds there all the time. I just don't usually see them here in Sunderland. So now this one, there's an actual story as to why I bought this one. I'm probably going to send this one to my father, and I'll tell you why in a minute. I love that. I love the colors, and I mean, I would buy one of every card they have on their website if I had enough money and time to write all the letters that it would take to fill the cards. But this one is called The Gardener's Work Is Never Done, and it's an older gentleman planting a tree. And this one was by Kath Reed. And funny thing is, this reminds me of a funny story from my young adulthood. When I was a kid growing up, we always would take my mother to the local greenhouse for Mother's Day, and she'd usually pick out a couple of hanging baskets and then something to plant permanently. And she always wanted a flowering pear tree. Not sure why, but that was what she always wanted. So my dad, you know, we had dogwoods in the front yard, things like that, but she wanted a pear tree. So my dad bought the pear tree, got it home, transplanted it. You know, he was really, really into keeping this tree, making it beautiful for my mother, because that was the tree she wanted. And he would water it and Miracle-Gro feed it, and nothing was happening. In fact, it was starting to regress. It was dying, and he couldn't figure out what was going on. So one day he was out, I guess he was maybe taking care of the tree, and it started kind of wobbling back and forth. Took the tree, still very much a sapling, kind of like this one, pulled it out of the ground, just not even any effort to it. What had happened was we had voles that year, and a vole chewed through the taproot, so all the watering and the feeding of the plant wasn't doing it any good because it wasn't getting the water from the taproot, so the tree was dead. So it just, that card kind of reminds me of my father. So I'll probably write him a note and send him that one. This one, I have no idea who I'm going to send it to, but this one reminds me a lot of New England autumns, especially here in Western Mass with the mountains. And I mean, as long as you have the right weather conditions, the falls here are gorgeous. You have to have a lot of rain and colder nights. Warm days, cold nights, and a lot of rain. This one's called The Beautiful Moment, and it's by Dee Nickerson. And I love how it's a woman out walking in the woods with her dogs. And here's another bird-oriented one. Of course, you know I'm going to end up with all the bird ones. This one's just called Garden Birds, and it's by Gerard Hobson. We have had grackles and red-winged blackbirds, so that one's kind of familiar. These are all British birds. Although we do have wrens in America, but not here in Massachusetts. That's more of a southern bird. So, yeah, so anything with birds, you know I'm going to be there. So that one, who knows who I'll send it to. Most of these I don't have any kind of particular idea, with the exception of this next one, who I'm going to send it to. And this one I'm going to send to my sister, because it made me think of her dog right away. And when she sees this one, she'll agree with me. She has an English cocker. Well, she did have English cockers. They haven't been with us in a while. When her first English cocker passed, she got a red and white Irish setter, and they wanted Irish setters because my brother-in-law grew up with Irish setters, and they're his favorite dog. So I got this card. That is my sister's dog, Gingerbread. I mean, so this one is going in a care package of some notebooks and pencils and things that I'm sending to her. It's called Maddie, and it's by Mary Collett. Or Collette. But anyway, I just love that. That is my sister's dog, so that one's definitely going to her. And this next one I have a plan to send to a friend of mine who loves pansies. I've just got to figure out. She lives out in Utah, and her parents were going to be out of the country for a couple of years. I don't know if doing mission work or not. I haven't talked that far about it with her, but she was moving into their home, so I need to get the address to send it to her. But she loves pansies, so I'm going to send her this card next time I write her. And it's just called Pansies, and it's by Mig Wyeth, or Wyeth, W-Y-E-T-H, Wyeth, I think. But anyway, so I'm going to send that one to Kara. And the rest of these I really don't, well, that's not entirely true. This next one I have a plan for, but the rest of them not so much. Now, this one reminds me of me and my husband, so this is going to be my anniversary card to him. We're coming up to our 20th anniversary here in a few weeks. And this one is called A Night at Home by Sue Richardson. And this one reminds me of us because we have so little time together because of football with his schedules, that in the off season, you know, we'll go do our walk, we'll do a workout, we'll settle in for the evening, and we'll just crash on the couch and watch TV. So, kind of reminds me of us. So that's going to be my anniversary card to my husband. This next one, I don't really have any particular person I'm going to send it to. This one kind of reminds me of where we go on vacation. In 2016, we decided we sort of wanted to stop going to Myrtle Beach and Ocean City, which was where we went respectively with our parents when we were kids. And we had always gone there, and we were looking for a new place to go on vacation, so we decided to try Hilton Head. And we're actually going back this summer. This is called Wild Seabird's Call. And it just kind of reminds me of where we vacation because of the dunes, the sand dunes there. Hilton Head's a barrier island. If you didn't have the sand dunes, it would have ceased to exist the first time a hurricane came through. And this one is by Cindy Spear. And I just love the perspective of that too, the shape of the way she did the ocean and whatnot. But that one kind of reminds me of where we vacation. And because it's a rural beach scene she depicted, because there's not a lot of commercialization at all of any kind in Hilton Head. I mean, there are condominium complexes and things, but then you'll have the rich multimillionaire next door who owns 2 lots, and there's nothing on either side, you know. So that card reminded me a lot of. And let's see. This one I got to send to a friend of mine who loves foxes. And actually, this one reminds me of one time this past winter. I had been working my temp job, and I was coming home, and I cut up the long way because I just wanted to take the scenic route home, and I saw a fox walking across a snowy field. So this one's just called Fox in Winter, and it's by Vanessa Lubach. And I'm going to send that one to Danielle because she's obsessed with all things foxes. And this one is another bird one, so yeah, it's gonna get repetitive with me talking about my love of birds, but I am obsessed. I actually put out a hummingbird feeder, and we had a hummingbird briefly. He hasn't been back since he came by the other day, but this is called You Notice the Birds, and it's a winter scene with some crows. Just kind of reminds me around here, you know, when all the birds go away except for a few hardy souls, and this one's by Tessa Newcomb. This kind of makes me think of like what Lake Wyola State Park must look like in the wintertime. Now this one I liked so much, you know, the whole thing about the city so nice, they named it twice. Well, this is the card I liked so much I bought 2 of them because I didn't know if I was going to be able to part with this one. And I don't know if there's really a point to having a card you're not going to send to someone. But this one is called Collecting the Post, and it's also by Dee Nickerson. Isn't that awesome? I just love that so much. So I've got 2, and I'm going to keep one for myself, and what I'll probably do is just cut this apart and paste it in my journal. Because I love that picture. And of course there's birds up there too. And birds flying around while she goes with her dogs to check the mail. So I did get 2 of those. One will go to someone, who knows. And yes, oh gee, guess what? Another bird one. This one I liked for the colors though, because green is one of my favorite colors. So this one drew my eye on the website. And they're constantly adding new cards. New cards by the same artists and then new artists as well. This one is just called Amongst the Red Currants. And to me that's kind of almost like even a Christmassy look. Just with the red and green. This is by Jane Dignam. So I thought that one was pretty. And yes, another Dee Nickerson bird one. I think she'll be my favorite designer on the website just because she does everything with birds. But this one was called Birds of a Feather, and it just reminds me, this one actually, I took a walk last week on the conservation trail over in Hadley, and I saw goldfinches. And then I saw some strange bird I had never seen before, but I couldn't identify it. But this is just called Birds of a Feather. And I like that she always puts dogs in, like people meet each other out walking their dogs. So that's cool. And then the last one I have from Green Pebble. This one actually kind of made me nostalgic for my middle school circle of friends. Back in the day, there was a group of us. It was me, Betty Jo, Katie, Sharon, Kristen. I'm trying to think, who did I leave out? It was me, Betty Jo, Kristen, Sharon, and Katie Carter. And we were all friends through middle school, and then we kind of separated in high school, like sometimes happens. And the reason this card reminds me of my middle school group of friends is because Katie played the bassoon. So Katie played the bassoon in band with me. I was a flute player. So this card made me think of her, just wondering what's going on. Things kind of got dicey freshman and sophomore year of high school, like they tend to do with young girls. And then we kind of drifted because we weren't running in the same circles as we did before. And you know, a lot of kids that I knew, we went through so much trauma. I think I was the only one in my group that didn't go through trauma, because one of the girls, her sister was bulimic, the other girl was fighting depression, one of the girls was anorexic, and she got into UVA and she couldn't even go to college right away because, you know, she was so sick she needed to take care of herself and get herself in a good place before she tried to live on her own. And, you know, it just struck me as sad that that group of girls that was so tight in middle school that I was close with dissolved. But, yeah, the bassoon player in the card made me think of that group, because one of my best friends played bassoon in band with me. So, those are the cards. Like I said, they average about $3.50, $4 a card, depending on which ones you're ordering. But they're definitely worth it. Like I said, they come well packaged. They come in a flat mailer with a cardboard insert, so they're not going to get bent or folded, spindled, or mutilated in any way. Such an amazing group of artists in this company. I say if you have any desire to write cards, go to their website. It's greenpebble, all one word, .co.uk, and treat yourself to some of these beautiful works of art. And if you can stand apart with them, send some beautiful works of art to the people you love. I guarantee you they'll appreciate it.